Hello and welcome to another Top 10 brought to you by Diagnostik80'S Reviews, the Full Force podcast and Cobra Convergence 5. I am Chris McLeod AKA Diagnostik80, and coming up for your viewing pleasure is a list of the main enemy snakes that I would love to see in the unbelievably cool and new G.I. Joe Classified series line. I won't be counting any characters that we know are just around the corner. That list includes Zartan, Major Blood, and I'm going ahead and throwing the TELE-VIPER in there too, even though we haven't had any concrete info regarding him yet. All three of which would have made it on my list easily. Before I get into it, let's quickly talk Classified. This brand new Hasbro G.I. Joe 6-inch line has definitely been buzzing my berries, thanks to the incredible updated designs, quality decos and insane articulation witnessed so far thanks to Wave 1. What I plan to do here is simply list off 10 Cobra characters that I desperately want to see updated and plopped into the 6-inch arena. Now my list is purely personal, so I have no doubt that your lists will look completely different to mine, and that is fine. I am looking at specific members of the team who 1. Could translate well into the current design aesthetic, 2. Haven't been officially or unofficially confirmed either by Hasbro or by leaked information, 3. Have amazing accessories that would be mind-blowing at the 6-inch scale, and 4. I just plain like them and want them all for myself. In at 10, and we have the TELE-VIPER. Now, growing up on Action Force in the UK meant seeing this guy at every turn. That turn could have been in the comics, on toy shelves, but also on tons of merchandise that flooded shops in the mid to late 80s. He was everywhere. Did that not turn you off him, I hear you ask? Nope, not at all. Couldn't get enough of this otherwise mundane troop builder. One of the main reasons for my love for these guys was the totally overlooked but thoroughly important job they were tasked with: communications. Action Force had 2 different breakers prior to this, so it only made sense that Cobra had their own landline tech support, and that aspect of the brand really intrigued me. Their secondary military specialty of electronics also drew me in because my dad was an electrical engineer in the Royal Air Force back in the day, and I was always on the lookout for those sorts of specialties. In the comics they were way more ruthless and hardcore compared to their depiction in the cartoon, which honestly made them even cooler with the LED readouts that phased across their visors all the time. Big shout out to Ryan Meltzer from The Finest, who made an incredible cosplay with a functional visor display to boot. Amazing. In any case, just imagine these guys in the Classified line. Tons of cool accessories like the modular radio pack that contains a VHF transceiver equipped with an automatic frequency hopper, a crypto unit and passive jamming and anti-jamming devices, according to the file card. He would also have a removable helmet, which according to the file card contains high-resolution earphones with overload dampers and 2 sets of voice-actuated microphones. I would settle for a simple helmet, however, it doesn't actually have to work. This would be a great opportunity to include some of those classic red LED visor replacement accessories with Intruder Alert, or my personal favourite, Ouch. You could also bring him into the present with tablets, smartphones and a super cool laptop to work with. So many great possibilities with this guy. At 9, it's a woman not to be messed with. One of the 3 Nox siblings, and with a vocabulary that would make Shipwreck blush.
Mindbender, you bloomin' dingo!
It's Zarana. You could argue that she's not technically Cobra, but if I did a top 10 Dreadnoks I want to see in the Classified line with 3 or 4 honourable mentions, then it would basically be all of the Dreadnoks. In any case, I think Zarana would be amazing in the line with a look that could stick very close to her original, with maybe a few more details taken from her 2011 SDCC 4-inch figure and a later Cold Slither Deco variant to go along with the rest of the figures included in the 2021 SDCC exclusive Cold Slither box set. That better happen or I quit. I mean, that Classified set would be amazing though, especially with stage backdrop packaging and some other pieces like instruments and amps, etc. I would even love to see a George Landsberg figure for Ultimate LOLs, included as the music video director who Cobra Commander kicked off his seat first. Coming back to Zarana, you could play up the disguise aspect of her character and include some accessories to help her change into Heather from the movie or Sergeant Carol Weedler from the Sunbow episode Computer Complications. Either way, you could have some fun with this figure and at the very least have her bathing costume underneath her secondaries from that fateful scene from the movie where Thrasher gets tossed in the drink and Duke didn't check her earrings. Oh, she needs removable earrings as well. And shout out to my awesome wife Kate for rocking that cosplay too. At 8, we have that bloomin' dingo.
Mindbender, you
Dr. Mindbender. I will shock you all here as well, because I ain't talking bare-chested, cape-wearing, knee-high boots Bender. I'm talking battlecore yellow and purple dress for experimental tech Bender. And yes, I realise he still has knee-high boots. I know many of you won't agree, and I would be surprised if this version ever got made, and I fully expect if Mindbender were to be approached, it would stick much closer to his 86 version, but I just love the crazy design on this one, and think it would make for a pretty spectacular classified figure. I would even be down for them incorporating elements from each design to appease my need for this guy. I also wouldn't be averse to that unreleased Mindbender towards the end of the vintage era in the mid-90s, but it has to be the Battlecore version that tops my list. Imagine the accessories. Again, a lot of fun could be had with multiple laboratory related items like test tubes and vials, maybe even a whole tube of Sergeant Slaughter/Slammer's DNA for research purposes. I would love him to come with the Serpentor's DNA extractor actually, that would be incredible. In any case, as I said, I fully expect a more 86 inspired version down the line, but this bonkers Battlecore Bender would blow my absolute bloomin' balls off. For number 7, my main thought once again is the possibilities for accessories for what would be a pretty spectacular TECHNO-VIPER. Yes, the Viper would be another great addition to the range, with my thoughts landing on the incredible accessories he could come with, just like the amazing 30th anniversary version from 2011. He could come with all of those amazing tools, which of course you would have stored on the backpack. Another Nerf inclusion could be used for that cool hose attached Plazarc plasma electric arc welding system, and then you could include additional elements like a Cobra branded cone or two for enforcing any unauthorised hiss tank parking. A regular toolbox would also be quite fun, or you could even go to the extreme and have one of those taller cabinet style storage systems to keep lots of cool accessories and tools in. Alternatively, you can make him a touch more futuristic and include more elaborate pieces such as advanced laptops and tablets, etc. Bottom line here is that there is a lot of fun to be had with this guy's accessories alone. The design figure-wise would translate so well into the larger scale, and the thought of a 6-inch head sculpt with a posable removable helmet and balaclava head just makes me so happy. The inclusion of a TECHNO-VIPER also makes me think of cool possible themed exclusives like a Tech Wave with mainframe, scrap iron and a bat. I think I would cry if they ever did that. Speaking of a bat, at 6, yeah, it's a bat. Sort of ruined that reveal a bit, didn't I? But I mean, come on, imagine a classified version of this figure. The sculpted internal chest machinery, the detachable hands and attachments, extra damaged head sculpt and chest glass piece, the backpack to store the attachments, and they could even increase the storage and include all of the different attachments we've seen over the years, like the flamethrower, gun, claw, and the sword. This one is a bit of a no-brainer really, and I'm sure it will see the light of day in the line at some point, so I don't need to go on and on about it. I will also throw in an honourable mention to Scrap Iron here as well, because he would make for a really cool addition, and again the accessories would be endless, including that massive missile launcher. At number 5, I've gone with the rather left field character, and mainly because she made for one of the best 4-inch collector's club figures of all time. Pythona. I think you'd have to stay pretty close to source with this one, and I don't expect to see her or the Cobra crew anytime soon, but the thought of having her as a classified figure just makes me very excited. For one thing, you could go to town with her accessories. The 4-headed electricity snake, spare hands with extended nails, the gas excreting mini bagpipe, the tapeworm oyster, the squidgy face hugger, starfish grenades, a clown with a holographic BET inside, and, as a deluxe figure, she could come with that dissolvable giant gelatinous eyeball water transport thing. I really need to find out what these things are actually called. I would also love to see her rocking 2 different capes, one hood up with an enclosed covering, and one with the hood down and split down the middle. I'm not sure how I would feel about a soft good in that regard, but it could work much like the 4-inch version. A removable ponytail would also be welcomed for that aspect, and could you imagine the head sculpt? Makeup galore, like she was one of the misfits, and I would even like to see moulded detailing on her bodysuit for all of those circular patterns. As a deluxe, the packaging would be out of this world, literally. So many awesome Cobra inspired visuals that you would probably run out of space on the box. I know it's a long shot, but hot damn, please make her happen, Hasbro. If you do, I will give you this gem, which at this size should answer all of your questions. Oh yeah, she can have the gem too. In at number 4, we have a family duo of circus acrobats who feel each other's pain and rock mirror images of their clothes. Yes, it's the Crimson Twins, Zaymot and Tomax. This would have to be a deluxe release so that we could get that awesome mirrored display packaging, or at the very least an SDCC exclusive where a small vehicle could be included. The Ferret springs to mind immediately, based on their introduction in the Marvel Comics, and would be small enough to practically do. I would also love to see them included with a Hydro Sled based on their UK Action Force commercial introduction. Of course they would need their zip line, Nerf pistols, and I would want the elaborate costumes over the suits for now. You could also include a couple of Extensive Enterprises briefcases and fill them with removable cash bundles just for added funsies. As an honourable mention, you couldn't have the Crimson Twins without the Crimson Guard, and this one would be pretty easy. You already have the body from Cobra Commander, a fresh coat of red paint and a head sculpt, and he's done. I would love to see him in the range, but I fully expect this one to be done purely based on how easy it is to do him. At 3, we have the second knock on the list, and this one is a must-have for me. Split personality, massive hulking oh wait, the Hulk. You also had the 2 personalities. How have I never made that connection before? Yep, it's the roadiest of pigs, Road Pig. I mean, if you didn't get it from that, then I have no idea why you're watching this. Anyway, this is another no-brainer for me, with 2 great hulking Joes already in the lineup courtesy of Roadblock and Gung Ho. It's only fair that Cobra gets some chonkin bods in there too. Road Pig would actually suit an even bigger body, but I could easily see them utilising this Joe Buck to great effect nonetheless. Give him a great head sculpt akin to that insanely hideous Supersonic Fighters card art, and a lot less cutesy than the original toy head sculpt, and I think you'd be onto a winner here. Give him his tattoos, Mad Max shoulder armour, ridiculous boots, his cinder block on a stick, wrist crossbow and an assortment of street signs and broken things, and you would have the perfect classified edition. Even though there are some wonderful knocks out there that would make for some great classified figures, Road Pig edges them out for me in sheer personality alone. Fetch me my air chariot for number 2. We have the Cobra Emperor, Serpentor. I vividly remember getting the Action Force VHS Arise Serpentor Arise from Woolworths in North Walsham and being extremely excited all the way home. I don't remember if I'd already purchased Serpentor in his air chariot or not by that stage, but it didn't matter as I was mesmerised by that 5-parter turned 90-minute feature film. I revelled in the bonkers story involving DNA extraction from some of history's greatest conquerors, an evil plasma monster made of burned marshmallows, and the introduction of Action Force's meanest drill instructor, Sergeant Slammer. Yeah, you heard that right. I was aware of Serpentor's appearance in the comics much later in life, but I had already been bitten by the Cobra bug for this guy, and now that we have the classified line, all I can think of is how amazing a Serpentor with air chariot could possibly be. If Prime 1 are anything to go by, then we could be in for an astonishing upgrade if they ever decide to do this guy. Destro's classified figure shares more than a passing resemblance to his Prime 1 statue counterpart, and because of that, I think Serpentor wouldn't be far off his statue design either, and that wouldn't be an issue in the slightest. The chariot would be small enough to fit in the practical for the 6-inch department, and the detail you could include at that scale would be magnificent. Moving snake head and handlebars, spinning vent, removable blasters, I mean yes please. As a deluxe or exclusive you could also include a stand for his cape and removable helmet mask. Tell me that wouldn't be the coolest. He could have his removable snakes around his neck for lugging at Duke's heart, lots of removable gold and green snakeskin armour, and that little dagger his original came with. Hell, if you didn't want to do a Globulus, then you could even throw in the Time Worm, which for me would absolutely be the crown jewel of the entire line. Throw in another DNA extraction device, and you're onto a winner here. This I command. Wow, we've come a long way, but well done, you've made it to number 1. That, or you just skipped ahead. Anyway, here's my number 1. My Demon of the Deep, Hydro Viper. This fantastic bastard is my number 1 want in the classified line, period. Joe, Cobra, Dreadnought, October Guard, Fatal Fluffy, you name it, this guy rises to the top, ironically. Now in most cases on this list, accessories have led the way in my decision making, but the main highlight for me about Hydro Viper is the figure design. Of course his accessories play a huge part here, but just imagine this guy at 6-inch. The deco would be eye-catching, the textures all over his amazing suit would be so cool, and okay, yeah, his accessories too. Starting with the removable helmet reminiscent of the Predator with detachable pipes for his breathing apparatus, the breathing apparatus, harpoon gun that would definitely holster on his thigh like the original card art suggested, jagged dagger, webbed fingers on his hands and possibly spare options to cycle between, and his amazing flippers with the added bony talon toes and additional texture. Completing the loadout would have to be his trusty Devil Ray, who incidentally is called Ray as well, but that's just a coincidence. The head sculpt under the helmet could easily utilise the balaclava covered Cobra Trooper, considering the similarities between the two bonces. For me, this guy is full of personality and has a really cool backstory with all the experimental surgery to alter their abilities underwater, like being able to withstand nitrogen narcosis, chemical injections to increase subcutaneous fat production for insulation, and the addition of synthetic webbing between their fingers. This army builder would be too much fun, and I would be in for all of them. That's it then for my top 10 most wanted Cobra classified figures. Please stay tuned into Cobra Convergence for the rest of the month, as there will be loads more great Cobra related content from all sorts of awesome content creators. Thanks for watching, and as always, all hail Mighty Cobra. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback or questions. We have also started a Patreon page, so if you want to see your name up in lights on these videos or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/TheFullForce podcast or click the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.
G.I. Joe fans, welcome to Cobra Convergence 5. Cobra Convergence is the G.I. Joe fan community's month-long celebration of G.I. Joe's eternal enemy, Cobra. Please join as your favorite G.I. Joe podcasters, YouTubers, photographers, and cosplayers present new Cobra content for the entire month of August.
G.I. Joe, the Full Force podcast, Half the Battle, Special Mission Force, Comic Tropes, Toy Polloi, Plastic Battles, Scorched Earth Creations.
Every day in August, we'll spotlight a G.I. Joe fan creator with new Cobra-related content. That's a dose of Cobra every single day of the month.
Talking Joe, a G.I. Joe podcast. Merry Mercenary Cosplay. Order of Battle podcast. Cobra Island. SEO Toy Review. MacDowell. Mate Myler. Fun School Roni.
The full lineup of creators is now available at HCC788.com. Make sure you subscribe and follow each one so you don't miss anything.
Joe Motion Videos 82, JLS Comics, What's on Joe Mind Podcast, The Human Mechanism Mark II, Green Yeti 907, My Side of the Laundry Room, The File Card Podcast, Real Hector Canadas.
We want every G.I. Joe fan to get involved, support the fan community, and show us your creativity. You will find instructions at HCC788.com for how you can join the Convergence with your own Cobra creations.
Joe Fan 82, J Body, codename New2Vero2, Painted Plastic, Joe Colton Cosplay, Hooded Cobra Commander 788.
It's time to turn the world blue. Cobra Blue. Go to HCC788.com right now and get ready for the Convergence. Oh!